Lincoln, Nebraska, what's going on? You are listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. It is another wonderful Sunday, and I hope you're enjoying this weekend. I know that, we just had a Thanksgiving holiday that passed by, and lots of things to be thankful for this Thanksgiving. Hopefully you have the opportunity to spend time with family and friends and just really take in all that you are grateful for. I am grateful for you all as my listeners. I'm also grateful for the opportunity to have a show where I have the chance to talk about positive things and really lift people's spirits through the guests that I bring onto my show. Today, the format's just going to be a little different. We're just going to be having a great conversation today about a number of different topics. And I have one of my really good friends on the show again with me today, KB Mensa. What's up, man? How are you doing?
What's up, man? I'm glad to be back, man. I mean, that must be a good thing.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing you're back on here. But it's good to see you. Really happy that we get the opportunity to talk about some of these topics today. With Thanksgiving being around the corner, as far as it's right in our rear view here.
Right.
You have an organization that did an event last week, and can you tell us a little bit about that event and just give us a refresher on what Visionary Youth is and what Visionary Youth does?
I mean, Visionary Youth, our focus is, our mission is to really help the youth, and not only but help the youth, but help the families. So our mission is to impact families by supporting the youth to reach their full potential. And we do a plethora of things. I mean, we do 3 events a year. We do a back to school free haircut and backpack, which was phenomenal this year. We just got done doing our Thanksgiving, our holiday community outreach event, which it was beautiful weather. You could not ask for more for that day in November. You know what I mean? So, I mean, being able to actually feed over 1,200 families. I mean, just the impact on that. I mean, that was a blessing. And we do a toy drive that we have coming up in December 15th. So that's just a few events that we do. And then we also have a Mind Mobile that is mentoring a new dimension, where we mentor the youth, and from high school all the way to 6th grade. We really work with these youth for about 10 weeks, have a curriculum that goes for about 45 minutes, and it's barbers that are mentors, and for 45 minutes, and then the next 45 minutes they get to spend with a mental health therapist. And that work right there goes real deep. I mean, it really gets the kids to really think about what's the future like, and really get them to know about themselves. So I love that component right there, just to be able to bring the bus in a culturally relevant space and really work with those youth. So
that's excellent. So 3 big events for the year, the Mind Mobile, which is amazing. We're going to dig into those events today and talk a little bit more about each one of those. But I really want to highlight the turkey giveaway because that's one that this year was the 6th annual or 7th? 6th?
It was the 6th.
This is the 6th annual this year. So first one started in 2019.
Yeah.
And as you think back on where you started and where you are now, talk to us a little bit about how that event has evolved over the years.
Well, let me first of all talk about how it started. It was, Ishmael from Malone Center.
Yep.
Man, COVID was hitting. I think it was
2019 was the first year, but then that second year.
Second year, yeah. So he just called me and was like, "Man, let's do something." And I was like, "What you thinking?" And we came up both heads to the idea. Let's start off, for Thanksgiving and start giving meals to families in our community, and that's what we started. And I mean, how it started from pulling up in a U-Haul,
right,
doing 500 turkeys, and now doing 1,200. It's
right.
I mean,
more than doubled.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I mean, it just really blew me away this time when I got to the church. And first, I'll take people back into just how much time and effort it takes to do all of this. And I want you to kind of explain
Behind
behind the scenes. But when I rolled up this year and I actually saw a semi, like a full size 53-foot semi trailer,
right.
that's the first time we've had something that large there. And to see a semi there and somebody whipped that thing around the corner and pulled it up next to the church, now, of course, it wasn't full of turkeys because a 53-footer is pretty big, but
it is
just to see the magnitude of that event this year, not only the semi, but also the line that just wrapped around the block. And, there's a lot of people that are in need this year. And so walk us through what it takes to put on an event like that. I mean, people can't even really conceptualize 1,200 turkeys, right? Like that's a lot.
I
right?
mean, it starts months and months of planning. Where we're going to get the funds to really make this thing go. So, I mean, just behind the scenes, working with Super Saver, working with other stores for we can get, supplies from, we're talking about green beans to mashed potatoes, macaroni, pies from Cisco. So it's a lot of planning. It's a lot of talking to people and making sure we can manage and get the timelines right. So,
right.
I mean, you just can't put an order in like that and just drop it off. Yeah,
right.
People get off on Friday, so we have to do the planning. So, I mean, just from the cold storage place of just
right. Imagine enough refrigeration,
right,
to keep 1,200 turkeys frozen and all the pies.
Right.
So those are, I mean, people. It's just it's a magnitude of scale that's pretty significant. If you've ever been to the Lincoln Food Bank, you see that it takes a lot of warehouse storage to store all that food, and to just pop up and do that at a church where it's really a pop-up type of a situation, honestly, right? Because by the time we left on Sunday, every table that was used was put away.
It was.
Right. And the gym was cleaned up. It was like we weren't even there. So that in and of itself, shout out to St. Paul Methodist Church, by the way.
That's a good partnership. St.
Absolutely.
Paul Methodist Church. I mean, just to be able to store that food
in
that massive church. They got a lot of room, underground. So it just really helps us to be able to store all that food right there.
And listen, you guys, I pull up on Thursday and KB is like, he has a pallet jack. If you've never used a pallet jack, it's not a very convenient thing to use, but it's an essential thing to use, right? Because you can't pick up a pallet. Like a pallet, of course, it's a lot of food. So he's trying to maneuver the cranberry sauce, okay, which is probably weighing like a ton off of the back of this.
Well, it's 1,200 on there.
Exactly. 1,200 cans stacked and racked cranberry sauce, right?
Well, so
we're trying to get this thing off the truck. The actual ramp that you have that is, mechanical isn't even big enough. So we have to maneuver this pallet jack onto the ramp just barely. You get maybe a couple inches, then that thing's about to fall off the back of the truck. And we're trying to,
just imagine. And we don't weigh that much.
I don't weigh that much. But, when everything's said and done, I'm just saying, like, we're like trying to get this stuff off the truck. And when I saw that, honestly, it just hit me. When I saw that, I just realized how incredible it is to actually do this really on your own. You do a lot of the work. You actually coordinate a lot of this food purchase. You make sure that the food gets to the church. We actually took it onto the elevator. I mean, it is God's work. And
it is,
just to watch you doing some of that stuff and be a part of it myself this year, just a small part of it. It's like, it's amazing. It's amazing to still have the capability to have the time to commit ourselves to that kind of service, and to see you do all of that with everything else you have going on. At some point during today, we'll talk about all the things that you have going on, because you have a lot. But in your role as the executive director for Visionary Youth, you really have to conceptualize this stuff and execute it. And to see all the food come together. Last Thursday, we got together at the church.
How many volunteers we had?
How many volunteers?
Man, we had about 130 to 140 volunteers.
When we first started this, you all, we probably have like 50,
Right.
maybe
Right.
50, including our families that would come out, that would have to come out to make it work. Right. Now we have 160 volunteers that came. And just to talk to you all about the setup and everything, how everything was working, basically, you bring all the food into the gym.
Right.
So 1,200 basically bags have to be filled. And in those bags, of course, there's a couple cans of green beans, right? So that's 2,400 green beans.
Right.
There's like three boxes of macaroni, right?
600.
Okay.
Yeah.
36, right? Then you have a couple boxes of stuffing. So that's 24 there. So, I mean, you have thousands of articles in that space.
And they call them units.
Units. Right. So you have so many units, thousands of units in that space.
Right.
And basically you have to take all that and bag it. So they set up like a assembly line. People walk through, and we had so many volunteers, you guys, that there was a line that wrapped around the gym, and people had to wait to go through the line to fill their bags.
Yeah.
So we have to make it more efficient next year, because I don't like people to stand around for any period of time, checking their phones and everything when they're supposed to be volunteering. Right.
Right.
But at the same time,
I mean,
what I noticed was, you probably noticed this too, people actually enjoy the company of each other in the space. Right.
It felt like a mini reunion.
It did.
Of, past volunteers that come to volunteer and be like, I haven't seen you,
Right. Exactly. So that's super cool. So, I was just talking to my wife about it today, and we were talking about how we should set up a deal where if you volunteer a certain amount of times, you get like a free Visionary Youth t-shirt or sweater or something.
Oh yeah.
That would be awesome. Right.
Yeah, be awesome.
And I think we're going to make that happen. And so, if you want to sponsor that, just let us know if you want to sponsor it. Maybe we'll put a patch on it or something. But
yeah, man,
wouldn't that be cool? Right? Like, have somebody sponsor that.
So for the back to school, we was like, how many people got their shirts from back to school?
Right.
And
then, I mean, is how many years has it been?
Man,
back to school? 13 years, right?
Yeah,
so every year there's a new shirt. And so what they'll usually do is they'll take those and make a quilt out of them. And so it'd be neat to see all those shirts with all the volunteers who have helped over the years. But anyways, so I hope you're keeping up with them. I hope at least you have them, because if you don't have them, I'm not sure who does. Okay.
I do. Oh man, we're just gonna do a little contest.
Yeah, but it'd be nice to see. So, we had so many volunteers at that event. They came in, the spirit moved me. I spoke to the people on Thursday, and I just talked to them about how important this year's event was. And we've heard so many things that have been happening this year around people struggling, around people's uncertainty, about certain folks being nervous about their status here in the United States and so on.
Right.
And the least we could do was come together, pack these bags with care, and prepare to serve on Sunday. Right. And it was just amazing to see so many people come together. It's a very diverse group of people. There's a lot of older people that are there that come out to want to volunteer. There's younger people that come out to volunteer. There's people who bring their kids. I mean, it's amazing to see just how large and diverse of a group of people come together to help. And they're coming together for a cause, right? So that was Friday, and then Sunday came along, you all. So I wish you could see the imagery of it. The gym is full with like 1,200 bags of food, right? So those bags are all over in the corner. Then they had some socks. Shout out to Bombas, who for every sock they sell, they give a sock away.
They do.
Right?
And
so we had Bombas socks, and those are really nice socks, by the way. I need to actually grab some of those when I get a chance,
Yeah, they are really nice socks.
I mean, beautiful socks. So people can come in, they get some socks. We had some underwear there as well, because people forget about those things, right? Yeah, sometimes you don't even think about what it's like to not have extra of something if you need it.
You're right.
And so we had socks, we had underwear, we had some gloves and hats and different things, because it's getting cold. Right? I came down here on the interstate from Omaha. I'm telling you, there was a truck turned over in the middle of the interstate because it's so windy. Yeah. Wow. It is super windy. I think my wife doesn't even have power at the house right now because power's out up in Omaha right now. So it's crazy. So you think about some of those things and the challenges that people are experiencing right now. This year's turkey giveaway was so important.
It was.
And so we get there on Sunday. The weather was gorgeous. If it's state football in Nebraska, it's terrible outside. right? Like when you get to state football in Nebraska, it's like
Right.
you'll never forget playing in state at Memorial Stadium because it's probably like 20 degrees. There's a breeze coming through there. It's like 60 miles per hour, you know. But this last Sunday,
Man,
it was
like
60 degrees
no,
outside.
like 65.
I'm telling you,
mean,
it was warm. It was
yeah,
beautiful. It was beautiful. So we absolutely had great weather. You know, people were there. I actually took it upon myself this year. I went through and I gave everybody that was there from the beginning a ticket
I seen that.
because I just wanted to see them and I wanted to tell them thank you for being there, you know? And I got a chance to tear off tickets and give them to every single person in the line.
Now,
It was amazing.
did you see anybody that you would see in the club from years on end?
Man, don't get me, bro. I'm telling you, I saw one guy come in there to get food this last time who back in the day, this guy used to be like a rapper. You know what I'm saying? He was doing his little rap thing. He had his crew and everything. This guy must have fallen on some hard times or something. And I saw him and I gave him the biggest hug. And it like hit me so hard, man. Like, this is a person that used to come down to the spot back in the day,
right,
and have a good time. He'd be spending money, you know, have his friends and everybody around him and everything. And now he must have fallen on some hard times. So he's there just to get some food. I think we're both just a tad bit embarrassed to see each other, you know, because I'm like, man, you know, like thinking to myself, man, what are you doing here? Right. And he's probably thinking to himself, what are you doing here? And I'm just like, I think it was just this like shared sense of relief because we saw each other. So you see somebody, you know, but sometimes in certain spaces, you know, you see somebody, you know, you're just like,
you know,
it's tough.
And it's the opposite for me. You know, there's some people I've seen there and, you know, they come through from the other events. And I'm just like, man, I just really appreciate them coming.
Yeah.
You know, not, you know, people get proud about, you know, I don't need nothing. I don't want no help.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
To see that, you know, they're taking advantage of it and really are trying to help their family, man, that means the world right there to me.
That's right.
Well.
That's right. And that's really the way that I see it too, is that it takes courage to ask for help and go to a place where things are, you know, going to be given to you.
Right.
And, you know, that takes a certain level of humility.
It does.
Right. And if I had to do it and I was in a situation where my family was struggling, it takes strength and courage to put yourself forth to make sure that you're getting something to support your family. Right. And, you know, we both have families. We both have people in our lives who we care more about than we care about ourselves.
Right.
And when everything's said and done, you have to fight for those people. And so when I see folks present themselves to pick up something and get something, I'm just like, hey, that's amazing, because you found a way, you made it happen. Just like everybody else has to make it happen, right? I mean, they say there's a certain percentage of people who live paycheck to paycheck in this country.
I mean, and you know, what's been going on, you can tell, you know, there was a scourge. Like people are, I mean, I think 60% of people got their stamps back or EBT.
Right. SNAP.
Yeah, SNAP. And people, I mean, that's scary. You know, if you got a family of 4, you got a family of 6, or you know, 2. The kids got to eat.
That's right.
You know,
that's right. So overall, it was just really humbling. I think that's a good word to use. It was just humbling to be able to be in that space on Sunday. And as I had mentioned, and I was talking with you about this past weekend, you know, we don't actually do any of the work. We're just instruments of God, and God does the work through us.
Right.
We have the hands and the ability to move some things around and say some things here and there, right?
Right.
It feels like you're doing the work, but you're just being utilized as an instrument for God's work. And I think that it's amazing to see just how bringing so many people together. There was a lot of volunteers on Sunday too, right?
There were.
How many volunteers were there?
We had like over 160.
160 volunteers. And the way that it works, you all, is that the folks get to walk in the door at the church, and immediately they're greeted by a runner that we have that's there, who is basically in a position of serving that person while they walk through the space. So they greet them at the door. They walk through with them. They talk to them. They carry the bag for them.
They do. They give them that
VIP treatment. Yeah. It's so amazing to see that. It's so amazing to see that. So they get that VIP treatment. They walk through. They pick up their bag with their groceries and everything in it, their units. They go. They walk over, help them get the socks, put those in a bag, walk outside, get the turkey and a pie, and walk them to their car. It is VIP service.
It is.
We get to serve. We get to serve, right? And so it was just so neat to see it. 6th annual this year. I mean, it really moved like a well-oiled machine again, which is great to see. But yeah, so as you look back on it and it's evolved, right? I mean, gosh, what do you think is next? How does it get better?
That's the question. How does it get better? You know, it's unfortunate that we have to do these things for these people, for our neighbors. You would want everybody to be on a certain level, but how do we get better? I think, it's always talking to the people. What is the next need? What could we do better? And that's one thing we pride ourselves as a nonprofit, is always collecting that feedback and how can we step it up to the next level? I mean, we're here. We will always want to be higher and higher. So
definitely,
so
we'll keep thinking about it. We'll keep trying to improve the efficiency of it and make it a very seamless event. And there's a few things, it
moved quick.
It did. I mean, about an hour through, honestly, I would say we probably had about 200, 300 people.
Right. But, I had to get back online to tell people, hey, there's no line. So come on down, you know what I'm saying? And come and get these needs and stuff. And, a lot of people would be like, what's the line like? And I'm like, it's clear,
right.
With 160 volunteers, and they're going through that line. And, like you said, there's a couple bottlenecks.
Right. Just a few.
They moved quick,
definitely,
so
definitely.
That was a good thing.
I had one of the women who was doing the running. She actually timed it a couple times, and it was about an average of a person. It took a person 10 minutes to move through the entire thing. So that's not bad, right?
But I mean, we're signing them up.
Yep.
For the toy event, distribution,
right? So we'll talk about next segment. Right. We'll talk about the toy giveaway, because that's a big deal, and and we really do want to see if we can gain some support from the community on putting that together. But it really was efficient, and I was really proud to be a part of it. And, it was just amazing. Like, I was really fortunate to see your wife and your son was there.
Right.
2 of your sons were there.
Right.
My wife and my daughter was there.
You know what I look forward to, though? I look forward to the word. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't every year it's something different that lies on your heart. When you speak to all the volunteers, it's just like, wow. And it gets us riled up to go to serve our people in our community, just our neighbors. And it really hits hard. So,
well, I appreciate that. No, I appreciate that. I mean, I'm moved by seeing all of the positive energy that is in one space, and so many people who showed up this year to volunteer. And I think our events have become something special for people to volunteer at, because they get to really be in this mindset of serving the people that we're there to serve. And I think that there's just something special about it. And this is it's something that I see replicate at our other events too. Yeah. Whether it be the back to school haircut event, haircut and backpack event, where there's just this spirit of giving and like happiness and joy and all the positive energy that happens at the beginning of a school year. So, but yeah, we'll be talking about the toy giveaway and more about Visionary Youth. I have my guy KB Mensa today on the show with me. We're just chatting it up and talking about service right now. So we'll be back on the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. 93. Lincoln, Nebraska, we're back. It's Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have KB Mensa in the studio with me today. It's 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Law of Lift, and we're talking about service today. We're talking about service. We're going to talk a little bit about business ownership too. We'll get into that because both of us have been business owners. He's still a business owner doing a bunch of stuff. So let me run down just a few of the things that you do really quick, just so our listeners understand, what you got going on. You're the executive director of a nonprofit organization, Visionary Youth, which we've been talking about with this turkey giveaway. You own 3 barbershops?
3 barbershops.
3 barbershops,
Right.
Oasis Barbershop. So 33rd and Pioneers,
Right.
27th and O.
Right.
And now there's a new one at
12th and P.
12th and P.
Yeah.
So, 3 barbershops. Let's see. What else? So you also are a barber for the Huskers, right?
I am.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
We have a shop. We there's another barber that Derek calls. So we go down there Thursdays during the week.
Down to the stadium, right?
To the stadium.
Yeah.
They have a barbershop. So it's a barbershop that we go in there and we cut the players, and not only the players, but some of the coaches. They come down and we just have those conversations and those moments, of getting to talk about, life, football, and just other things. They talk about football all the time. So we really
talk about other things. That's great.
Really try to, they're all humble. They're all some humble guys, and they just want to win, and they have it in their heart. They set a goal, and that's what they're trying to achieve. And just like
what's it like to be in that space where, because a lot of people probably wonder about, being around these guys, these coaches in a setting where they can just unwind a little bit. Right. What's that like? Just to be around them.
It's quiet before the storm, It's always, so let's just say we do it on a Thursday, the game might be on a Saturday.
Right.
So, they get into practice on Monday, Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
they even practice on Sunday sometimes. So you just got to think about all that, and they get to watch that film. But it's just like, we're going to rest on they practice, and then they come get their hair cut, and then they're off to the hotel. So just that mindset of we want to win. So that's pretty big, man. Since you have the stadium with drinks going on and stuff like that, and I don't know if you noticed, but we was one of the highest ranked in sales over at the stadium. But it's just certain things that we want to, their competitors, and you can see in each and every one of them how they represent themselves and what they stand for. The coach over there, he's just the lead. He pride that on you, like, hey, keep your head up. We're going to make it happen. Yeah.
So it's great. I think that there's a really good energy around the program. I think Coach has done a great job of building a winning culture.
Right.
And to have young men in that program that are confident in themselves and truly are trusting the process, that's a really important thing. And it's neat that you get to kind of see into that and be in those spaces with those guys when they're just, relaxing and taking it easy.
Right.
And able to care for themselves, because this is just how crazy it is, you all, to be a Division I athlete. Every single moment of most of your days is scripted. You have to be somewhere, right? You have to be somewhere, whether it's class or practice or the training table or lifting or whatever. It's just crazy. So it's nice that they can actually have you in there to allow them some time for some self-care and to keep their appearance up. Right. That's amazing. And of course, I know you're talking to them, like you said, about some of the things that are happening in their lives. So that's just another one of the things you do. You're one of the barbers for the Huskers, and you have a family, of course. So you have to take care of your family. You have a son in college, son still at home, and a number of other sons and daughters that have kind of moved on, and they're doing their thing in the world and everything else, right?
Yeah.
So just, being a dad and still, having
also DJing.
That's right. I forgot. Man. We just DJ'd a wedding this past weekend in let's see, where were we? We were in David City, Nebraska. So we drove out to David City, Nebraska.
Country.
And we were at the we were actually at was it the Butler County Fairgrounds?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so KB and I DJ weddings together. We've been doing that for quite a few years now, actually.
Quite a few years.
And this one was really unique because, you know, I don't think I've ever seen, and maybe you all have, you know, maybe you've been to weddings and stuff like that. Okay, I'm just going to venture and say that you've never seen what we saw this last weekend. So the party bus pulls up to the wedding,
right,
and the wedding party gets out. So half of them come into the front part of the venue to walk in. And then the bride and groom stayed on the bus. They drove out to a stable and got onto a horse-drawn carriage. And they pulled up to the wedding in a horse-drawn carriage. And the garage door opened up, and I announced them, Mr. and Mrs., you know, and they get off the horse-drawn carriage and walk into the space, man. It was the coolest thing. I've never seen anything like that before, actually. So
me either.
I mean,
usually it's just the bus.
That's right. We've been to the Nielsen Center in West Point, Nebraska, and you know, that's really cool because they open the doors up and they actually pull the party bus into the venue,
right,
and drop people off inside the venue, which is super cool. That takes a lot of coordination, but to time properly the horse and the carriage and the wedding party and everything else, man, you know, that makes you feel kind of good. You know, you get it all. Like I announced the wedding party that I ran through the venue. KB was playing the music, and then I said, "And now, ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet." The garage door opened, the horse pulled up, stopped right there, and they got off the horse carriage.
The horse got to be on point.
That's right. It was crazy. And so anyways, wedding DJ as well. Right. What else, man? Anything?
Photography.
Else? Yeah, that's right. You do photography.
I still dabble.
You still dabble in photography a little bit here and there. So yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of things that you do. And of course, just keeping Visionary Youth running. And you are a major component. He's a major component of the MIND program, where he actually has to go to the venue to pick up the bus and delivers the bus to the schools where the MIND program happens.
Man.
And so, I mean, I have no idea, like you must have like a twin or something that helps you do all this work, because how do you get all this done in a week?
If you knew, man, I'm telling you, I don't know how I do it. I just do it. I don't think, have you ever seen me complain?
No, not really.
I don't. I just do it.
I mean, every now and then, you know, you might let a complaint or two slip out, but then, you know, you usually don't have any like positive stuff coming back from me when the complaints are coming out. I'm just like, hey man, just, you know, keep it moving, man.
We just do it, man. I think I put my body to just do it. It's got to happen. You know what I'm saying? If we don't do it,
who's going to do it? That's right. Who's going to do it? So that's crazy you say that, because I was just talking to my wife this morning and I was like, you know, I was just thinking back on this year and I was trying to think, was there maybe a couple of days that I just decided that I didn't want to like do anything? I said, you know, I think there were a couple of days.
Right.
Out of 365 days this year, I think there were maybe a couple days that, and I said, and the only reason I think I took those days off is because I was sick. You know, I usually don't wake up in the morning to not do anything. Right. So, and this is the same way you are. And it's one of the things that I think has always bonded us together, is that if I'm not wanting to do something, you're always going to be like, come on, man, let's go. Man. If you're not wanting to do something, I'm like, hey man, come on, let's go. Let's do this. Right.
There's been many a time.
We push. Yeah. I'll never forget when we used to be back in the day, and you probably know the story I'm going to tell, but back in the day, man, so we would not go out because we really had no reason to go out. Like if we had an actual night off and we didn't have to go DJ or be somewhere, we would be at home. And usually around 1:15, because the club would get out at 2, okay, we would have to get up out of bed and go hand out flyers for our parties at these events and these venues, and we'd want to be there afterwards. And so most of the time, I'm just going to tell you, most of the time, I wouldn't want to go. And so you'd always call, hey man, hey, get up. We got to go to the club. We got to go to the club. We got to get up. You know, you maybe come pick me up or whatever, right? Man. And we go hit the club, hit these flyers, like make sure that people were going to come to our events and everything.
Right.
But most of the time, I'm just telling you, most of the time I'd be like, and every now and then,
you like, is he going to call me?
Exactly. So I'd be like, hey man, what's going on? Oh man, I just fell asleep. I've been working all day. You know, I can't, you know, so, but most of the time, I'd say 98% of the time we would get up and go, because we just knew that we had a very small margin of error. And
Right.
that margin of error was like, if, you know, and I always felt like, and I think it's this way in athletics, if you allow yourself to give up too many times, you get used to giving up, right? You get used, and you don't want to get used to giving up.
You don't.
You don't want to get used to allowing yourself to fail, because then you become a failure.
Right.
You always want to pull yourself back from that. When you feel like, gosh, I just want to give up, you have to push through it, because on the other side of that feeling that you want to stop, there's always more, right? There's always more. And so most of the time when I feel like I'm just so close to like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore, that's when I know I have to really pull myself together and push through that pain, because I don't want to allow myself to give up. I don't want to be a person who allows myself to give up. And I knew back then, because we were both always struggling financially, trying to figure out a way to make ends meet, you know what I'm saying? Trying to find what that next opportunity is going to be, you know, break through the wall.
Man, we broke through a lot of walls.
We did. I just knew, hey, if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it. Just like we just said, right?
Right. Nobody's
going to do it. Like, nobody's going to get up and go hand out the flyers for us.
No.
Nobody's going to, you know, do this thing for us or start this deal over here, right? So, I mean, you
just think about when we was taking pictures in the club, like before.
Right.
We had the background made and everything.
We always had a different idea.
Right.
Because I think we just sit down sometimes and we just say, you know what? We have this idea. Let's put it together. Let's see if it works. And it always worked, to be honest with you. It always worked. I mean, you all, before there was Instagram, we were Instagram. So we would actually like have this guy, shout out to Lenny, man.
I just seen him.
Did you see Lenny? Does he still have long hair?
Man, he does.
Man, Lenny was like killer artist. So he would like, we'd give him a concept. Lenny would airbrush it on a sheet. And so he'd airbrush it on a sheet. And then it'd basically be like the same backdrop that we'd use. We put it up. We had like a stands. We put it up in the club or whatever. And then we take pictures of people in the club, because back then people didn't have camera phones. And so if you wanted to remember the night with your people,
right,
here we were, Instagram, right? Like we take a picture of you, print it out. Man, we could print out multiple copies, and we were charging for them.
Some of them pictures are rolling around on Facebook right now.
I know. It's hilarious. You see some of our old backdrops, you know,
of the city.
Yes. Yeah. So, but yeah. So shout out to the artists and the artistry.
Right.
But we were printing pictures out and we would give them to people to take home with them. And people really cherished those pictures.
They did.
And because, again, people didn't have camera phones. This is like before the iPhone came out. The iPhone dropped in 2007. Man. You know, we were, and honestly, people weren't immediately taking pictures with their phones. That wasn't like the first thing that people did, right?
No.
But, you know, we really tried to switch it up and do things that were unique and innovative. And to me, it just always felt so good to have an idea and actually see that idea through fruition, you know? Right. And so it was amazing to like, so we kind of stepped into talking about a little bit about business here. And, you know, speaking of businesses and everything else, KB, as a business owner, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you're facing currently with, you know, just some of the more global things that are happening? The economy is not as good, you know, some different people are struggling, different things like that. What are you seeing in it from the business ownership side of things?
Business owner. I mean, you know, prices, they go up, you know, and then you how do you handle that? You know, do you go up on the other end with the customer?
Right.
You know, you always want to be fair when you're, you know, giving someone a haircut, but you think about all the tools that cost how much and all the products and stuff. So you just gotta to walk that fine line and see what you want to do. You know, I think business wise though, you know, people are always going to need haircuts. People are always going to want to feel good, you know? So that's one thing, you know, I don't think people trust robots or, you know, right now to cut their hair. So you ain't got to worry about AI coming in and trying to cut, you know, so
that's actually a very interesting concept, you know? And so we'll talk more about that, just the future of the barber industry and business ownership when we come back. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have KB Mensa in the studio with me today on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back after this.
Yes, sir. Man.
All right, Lincoln, we're back. I got KB Mensa in here. And before the break, we were talking about robotic barbers. Robotic barbers. And so,
AI.
AI, artificial intelligence, it is absolutely everywhere. It is everywhere. And so, I've been thinking about how the future looks with AI being involved within every single aspect of our life. But you brought up a great point in that we're probably not going to trust AI with scissors and clippers around our heads and our necks anytime soon, right?
I mean, they showing it, but they always.
You've actually seen something?
Well, no, they got this the AI. They all,
Yeah.
you can talk about it or something. Well, they do little commercials and stuff,
Yeah.
But no, it ain't. I don't see it happening.
You don't see it happening?
I
Okay.
don't see
Okay.
it. I mean, you miss that genuine conversation between you and your client
Mhm.
against, towards your barber or your stylist.
Right.
You want that interaction.
Right.
I don't think AI is going to,
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, because what is compelling me is the concept of what exactly the human touch will become
right
when AI continues to understand the human touch, right? So if you think about it from this perspective, and I agree with you, as a person who does mental health work and did mental health work, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, oh gosh, there couldn't be a time at which, a robot would take over counseling, right? Like, what would that be like if a robot were to take over counseling? However, what I will tell you is that there may come a time that you speak to a voice that could reflect back to you much better than I could because of its intricacy of listening, understanding. I mean, AI is connected to everything.
Yeah.
Right? At one time, right? So just think of it this way. My experience that I'm talking to you about, you're able to take that and go through every other experience that's in this space and like feel what everybody else has felt and reflect back to me something similar to what I'm saying to you, right? It's interesting. Things are going to continue to evolve whereby if I'm talking to a robot, that robot can reflect back to me in a way that it understands that I need to be reflected back to, that I might feel better from listening to that robot, right? So just to say that the same way that you interact with your clients, the way that you care for them and everything else, I mean, you've got so many other things on your mind, right? Some of your clients you interact with in a very deep and meaningful way. Other clients, you might be talking to someone else on the phone. You might have something else going on in the shop, right? So just saying that when we have that one-on-one experience and that entity, whatever it is, it might be that somebody here's the hybrid of it. Let's say you're cutting somebody's hair, and while you're cutting their hair, you have an AI agent that's actually talking to your client, learning so much about them that you get a report afterwards, right? And then all of a sudden there's no person else that they'd rather go to because you've been given so much information about them, That's the way it is in counseling. When I first started seeing, in the space of video in the counseling room, my sister and I had this really interesting idea. My sister's also a mental health counselor. She has her PhD in counselor education. We were like, man, wouldn't it be neat if there was a video that recorded the entire session and then made notes for you? Because one of the things that clinicians hate doing is writing notes. We used to have to write notes after every single session, right?
And you're trying to really remember
everything that happened, right? And so now AI does all of that, right? So we were thinking early on about this app that would essentially record the conversation and then make notes for you so that you didn't ever have to do documentation. You could just do what you love, which is meeting with people, right? And I'm sure they have that now, but just saying that when you're interacting with your clients, something else might be at play, learning about the process, right? So it's not AI that will replace us. It's people who learn how to use AI that might replace us, right? So just keep that in mind. But, there's these things that, we keep talking about. Will we'll have more. In our second hour, we'll be talking a little bit more about business ownership, a little bit more about family and friendship and all the rest of that. It's the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have KB Mensa in the studio with me today on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back after this. Lincoln, Nebraska. It's Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have KB Mensa in the studio with me today. He is what we call a Renaissance man. He does a little bit of everything: barber, nonprofit executive director, father, husband, friend. Let's see. I mean, he does a little bit of everything. DJs weddings, does photography. I mean, doesn't sleep very often, which, that's the odd thing. And I'll just bring it up to you because I think people always say the same thing to me. We both do a lot, but I will tell you, when it is time to go home and go to sleep, I'm going home and I'm going to sleep.
Your body knows.
I'm waking up the next day and I'm starting again, right? So it's not that I don't get sleep. It's just that when I'm up, I do a lot, just like you, right? So we always find time to squeeze in a little bit of everything. But, earlier in the first hour, we were talking a lot about visionary youth. And what I wanted to commit this segment to is just really expanding on this idea of this toy giveaway, because this is another event. This year's the seventh annual. And so that means you've been doing this for one more year, right? Yeah. Then you were doing the turkey giveaway.
Right.
And talk to us a little bit about what exactly the concept of this toy giveaway is and where did the idea come from?
I mean, I think the idea came from it when I was a kid, and I remember my dad had to go get some things for the younger kids. Mm-hmm. And I went with him one time. I'm like, where are we going? He was like, well, we got to go get something for your brothers. I'm like, oh, okay, what's this? And just to see, not having it and being able to see when people were, letting us see the gifts and stuff. And I'm like, oh, dang, I want this, that's for them. You know what I'm saying? So it just let me know, like, wow, not knowing, like I said, we were poor and we had fun being poor, mm-hmm. But it's just taking those places and seeing, and I think that's where the idea came from, mm-hmm. Being able to really cherish those moments at the holidays and being able to unwrap gifts, knowing that you might not have nothing. And there's been times where there was, my dad tell me you ain't getting nothing. And I'm like, what? And then I come down the stairs and I'm like, oh, and I'm thinking like, where did this come from? Because I know that was for them. But right. So, it's just like, I don't know where he got it from, but I can imagine, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, I think that's where I wanted to help other parents that was in need, that really wanted to share the holiday spirit with their kids and be able to offer them something if they didn't have anything. So.
Yeah. And honestly, it's so, the holidays are a very important time in our culture, in our society here in the United States, because it's an opportunity that, a lot of people save for the entire year and then they get something special for somebody special in their life. Right. And you can imagine that if there's everybody else that has the ability to actually save and give something to those people who are special in their life, if you don't have anything, it really makes you feel like bad,
less
than, absolutely. Right. And so, unfortunately, the holidays, Thanksgiving rolling all the way into, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, what have you, it's honestly a time of reflection for a lot of people. And when there's struggle in the country and there's challenges and people are experiencing economic issues, and there's a lot of people who have lost their jobs this year, and there's a lot of things that have happened that have reduced the amount of extra income that people have, the holidays can be a time where people feel very uncomfortable. And stressed and strapped and all the rest of it. I mean, because again, they're just trying to make ends meet, and everybody's out here pushing and promoting this idea of giving somebody something, right? So I think you said it great there in that, as a kid, you're just like, man, I want something, right?
Right.
'Tis the season to give, so what am I going to get, right?
I mean, just imagine as a kid when what is it? A Christmas break, it ends. Everybody goes. They come and show their new duds, their new shoes. They have something.
Right.
So just just thinking about that, like, man, am I gonna get something new? I want to go to school and show off some stuff. That's why I wanted to be able to do that. I wanted to be able to help families that really don't have the means, but really want to, they want to have a Christmas with their families. They want to be able to do stuff. Either, they got to think about, I got to pay this bill.
That's right. Yeah.
Or I got to get this present.
Right.
And
hopefully the bill gets paid,
the
right?
bill get paid, right? We got to have a roof to live under.
That's right.
So
there's a lot of decisions that people have to make, and we feel as though one of those decisions shouldn't be, whether or not they could find something or bring something home for their kids. And so the overall concept of the toy giveaway is that families can come in, we give them an opportunity to choose from some toys that they can get for their kids.
Right.
And, we wrap those toys as well if they want them wrapped.
Yeah, that's something that we started a couple of years ago. We wanted to be able to just have the parents come in, leave the kids at home, and let it actually really be a surprise where they wouldn't have to lift the they wouldn't have to wrap it around them, or you never know. Parents, I mean, this is a society, unfortunately, that we have to work one or two jobs.
That's right. Yeah.
So
you don't have time.
You don't have time. So we wanted to take that burden off of them and wrap the gifts. And we have some amazing rappers.
I know. And I mean, I'll tell you what, that's if I had to do that in the Olympics, I'd lose. I mean, rapping is not my forte in that regard.
Right. I mean,
I'm a rapper.
You are a rapper.
I am a rapper, but I can't rap.
How many
like
albums
that.
you got?
I just have one album.
Okay.
Just one album.
I don't even think they know that about you.
I know, which is okay. That's fine. That's fine. But as far as getting toys to people, making sure that they're wrapped and actually giving people a selection, it's amazing.
I mean, toys, but we also give those essential needs as well. We give the socks still. We still want to be able to give those things out to them,
Yes.
It's just, kids grow.
They do.
And
they do.
Just to be able to, you don't want to be in hand-me-downs all your life, and I've been there. So I mean, that's probably why I go so hard.
Yeah.
For the nonprofit, because when people come to me, well, can I get gently used stuff? No, I mean, would you want gently used stuff? I mean, until you're giving it away, and and it's okay in different spaces,
right.
But I feel like
we want to try to give it the highest level that we can,
and that's what we do.
Absolutely, and that is to the extent that we can, providing people with new stuff. So now let's kind of shift into talking about how the Lincoln community can help with this, because I think, Lincoln is a wonderful community, and there's a lot of people who have big giving hearts in Lincoln. And so talk to us about how can they help with making this event a success.
Well, we have we have a few different partners. I mean, do you have that list? I mean, the list goes on. We have
We'll just talk to them about where they could actually go and pick up cards.
They can go pick up a card. It's called Help Us Starshine. And what this card does, it has maybe 2 different items of toys on there that you would just pick up from a plethora of locations that we have around Lincoln areas, from Great Clips to Super Clips. to Super Cuts to Oasis to I'm pretty sure there's so many. I should have been ready and on this one, but there's on Facebook, we definitely have it right there. There's a list of just spots, or you can just come and get on the website and
There's just a number of places you can go. You could go to First Interstate Bank. You can go to Westgate Bank, American National Bank, Neighbors Church, American Life and Securities, Chloe Wealth Advisors,
right,
Southwood Lutheran Church, Cost Cutters, Sports Cuts, St. Paul United Methodist Church, Costco, and Oasis Barbershops. And we talked about where those three are. So there's a number of places you could go. If you're interested, you could go to our website. Our video is going to be posted on the website. That'll give you more information.
Matter of fact,
Facebook, it'll be all over. Look up Visionary Youth. Visionaryyouth.org is the website that you could go to.
We got an Amazon, so you can order stuff on the
right
website.
on Amazon with the wish list. So which is amazing. You just type in Visionary Youth on Amazon and it'll take you to our wish list and it'll tell you what is needed. And so there's a lot of different ways that people can actually get involved. And what they know if they get involved is that, and just to give you all a bit of a imagery of what happens again when people come to our events, so you understand where that goes, where that toy goes. So we will make sure that that toy gets into this proper space where, from an age appropriate, gender appropriate perspective, it's where it needs to be.
Newborn to 18.
All the way up, right? So we have age appropriate toys and everything else, and parents could come in and they can actually get the opportunity to choose from those toys.
Yes.
And we have someone that walks them around through this space. It's essentially like they're going shopping.
Exactly.
And so they fill their bag, and then we take that bag out to their car. If they want it to go straight to their car, if they want to get the gifts wrapped, they go into a different space and get those gifts wrapped. And it is just so amazing to see parents get the opportunity to come in, choose from these brand new toys to take home for their kids, and walk out of there with less stress on their shoulders.
But we can't do it without.
We can't do it without the Lincoln community. I mean, we're talking. I think there's about 350.
Well, there's. We're at 4 right now.
400 families that are signed up.
Yeah, I think we're going to open it up.
So if you think about it, 3 toys per family, that's 1,200. It's probably end up being 4 or 5. So about 2,000 toys that need to be collected for this event. And so there's a significant need in our community right now. And, here's the deal. And people always ask these questions. They say, well, gosh, why don't you partner up with this organization, that organization, the other organization? We need folks to get as much as they possibly can. So we try and do it on our own. There's other organizations out there that are doing their own toy drives. Let everybody gather things the way that they need to gather those things. We have some people that just go to our events, and that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay, right? Because for some reason they feel, from a volunteer perspective, from a comfort perspective, that they want to go to the events that we put on. And so we are so blessed to have people that give to the organization on a yearly basis, so that we can actually turn around and make sure that these toys, these opportunities get to the people that need them.
Yes.
So, that's the toy event this year. That'll be happening on December 15th.
Yep.
Right.
We'll be setting up the toys December 14th. So if you would like to volunteer as well for both of those days, on the 14th Sunday and on the 15th on that Monday, we will be at St. Paul Methodist Church. On Monday, it'll be from 1 to 6. And on Sunday, I think it's like 1 to 4, setting up toys.
Just to set it up. And to set up, you all, it's actually quite a task, because all these toys need to be separated, put on tables,
age appropriate.
Everything needs to be staged, right? And so that way the next day things run smoothly. And so if you'd like to volunteer, you can always go to visionaryyouth.org and sign up to volunteer. And
love volunteers.
Absolutely. I mean, time, talent,
volunteers treasure. Love us. Yes.
And speaking of that, you can make a donation at visionaryyouth.org as well, right? Because every single donation counts, and we really do need as many donations as possible to make these things possible. So, we talked a lot about service today. I did want to get back to talking about the business side of things with you, because, again, things have changed this year. Like, prices have gone up. So inflation, right? Like the cost of things has gone up. What is the current cost of a haircut right now?
Oh, it just depends. It's either, it can go from $40 to $60.
Oh my goodness. $40 to $60 for a haircut.
Well, get the beard trim and all that stuff.
Right. So basically you're saying that when the economy goes down, people have less beards because they can't afford to pay for them as much?
What do you mean? No, I'm just saying the economy is never.
I mean, do people grow it out when they?
No shave November. I think
Okay.
that's probably about the only time people start letting it grow out.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, no shave November.
Yeah, no shave November. I mean, what we're seeing right now is there's people that just love coming in, and when it's the holidays, people like to come in on holidays. Lots of stuff going on. They want to take pictures and stuff. So
right, So this is a good month for you all.
Yeah,
barbers. Okay.
I just got off work not too long ago.
Okay.
So I'm working Sundays, Mondays.
Okay, so you're actually like opening up. You're opening up extra time just to get people in, right?
I wish I had a twin.
So yeah, but just this last year, I mean, things continue to develop in your world. You just opened a brand new barbershop in downtown Lincoln, right? So tell us a little bit about that new barbershop and why now, why there? How did that opportunity come about?
It started through just the haircut. I was sitting with one of my clients, and he said, "Man, are you looking for another barbershop?" And I'm like, "No, but I'm listening." And he was like, "Yo, I just want to take you over there, take a look at it." And I went, and I was like, "Wow!" It was already a barbershop, but it was older, and it needed a revamp. And I mean, I was like, you know what? I was talking to my partner, Nick, and I was like, man, I think we need to really look at this space right here, just the heart of downtown. I mean, business were coming back, and you start to see things starting to really take off. So I was like, this would be the perfect time just to open a shop down here. There's a couple of them around, but we have 7 chairs. So not only do we have barbers, we also have stylists there too. So
what's the difference between a barber and a stylist?
Well, a stylist, barber is one that really focuses on the barbering. I'm talking about skill, the razors and all that stuff, the shaves, and the stylists, they really work with women doing their hair and stuff like that, but they also can do barbering.
Okay.
So that's probably.
Can you do women's hair too?
I can, but do I choose to? I love doing men hair. So,
okay.
I mean, I can do the women. I do the women's shortcuts and stuff. I do the perms and the dreads and things like that. But I really like sticking to my guys.
That's interesting. I never really have thought about, I mean, I know there's a lot of men who are also stylists and women who are barbers, but there's an interesting, it seems like a gender separation between the two, right? A lot of men do the men's hair and the women do the women's hair, right?
No, there's women.
I know there's people who switch over and do it,
but there's a lot of women that do it. I mean, they will do men's cut, but when it comes to that technical with the clippers and then the razor, that's where they'll taper off and won't really put that detail. I think being a barber, we're very detail oriented to the face and how we want to sculpt the haircut. You know what I mean? So we take pride in that.
So what would you say is higher stakes, being a stylist or a barber? Higher stakes as far as, I mean, because when I think about a style and I think about you having to do an entire woman's hair, like dye it or something like that. I mean,
so you're not killing anything. That's not what we're doing. See, the technical term is coloring.
Yes. Okay, so it's not dyeing.
No.
So you're coloring a woman's hair. I mean, that seems high stakes. Like, I'm just like, okay.
It takes longer.
I was gonna say it seems like it's something you could really mess up, right?
Well, it is. I mean, you have this color wheel that you gotta think about. You don't want to turn her hair green, and she's got great. No, I'm just saying she got gray hair though. She's got gray hair, and I'm telling you, if you trying to get a blonde, and just think about these colors that you're mixing up, and it turns a little green tint, you're gonna be like, well, dang, what do I do to fix that, to correct that? So you really got to know about the color wheel and your colors and how you're mixing stuff.
So you can't be colorblind and doing somebody's hair like that.
Man, no, you can't be colorblind, and you don't want to burn nobody. It's a chemical. You just think about you.
That's
have
a lot.
Chemicals, even with the perming, straightening, and stuff like that. So you got to think about those things. I mean, you can make. I mean, it's great money, but it's also education that you really got to take behind that, because you really don't want to really burn somebody's hair or, put them in a situation where they got to go to the hospital and things like that. Yeah, I mean, people get sued for,
Yeah.
things.
That is high stakes. So when I think about that, I mean, that in comparison to like just cutting some dude's hair off the street and him walking out of there feeling good. Now, I'm not gonna, in any way, shape, or form degrade the barbering side of things.
Well, yeah, that's what it sounds
But
like.
you can't put hair back on someone's head either.
No,
right?
that's not true.
Oh, you can.
You can.
Oh my goodness,
Man,
okay.
they got man units and things like that. So
A man unit.
yeah.
What is that?
So it's we don't call it it's a man unit is like the terminology for a woman is a wig. You know what I'm saying? But this sticks to your head. You know what I'm saying? So you can wear it for about, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks, and then you'll come back in.
Wow.
Yeah. So
have you ever done one of those?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
And I don't. I wouldn't mind though. I think I'm about going to somewhere and just probably getting the hair implants. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't want to be on that plane and everybody looking at my hair all just my scalp. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm just gonna go bald. Just leave it bald, man. I'm just gonna leave it bald.
Man, I'll tell you what. Like,
if I had hair, you'd probably be looking at me like, bruh, what are you doing? What are you doing with all this from?
Listen, when this guy was younger, man.
Remember that? Oh my
man, you used to have braids, like everything. Your hair grew so fast.
People would think you'd be lying.
I know, seriously, because you have no hair now. But when you had your hair, you used to keep your hair so nice. I used to be wondering how your hair would grow so fast. But what I realized is that your hair was literally growing so fast because it was going fast. It was growing and going. So like all the hair was growing out of your head. And that's why it was moving so quickly. Mine was moving slower, you know
what? I think I got too many perms back in the day. So that's probably why.
I remember you gave me a perm. And it did not. You remember my hair was not taking that perm. It was like it was weird. It was kind of
your hair is very different, and it's okay. You have wool for hair, and
so is that okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Right, that's what you're gonna. Okay, that's what you're gonna do. That's all right, man. All right.
I have no hair.
So listen. There's different levels of curl. And I have a very incredibly tight curl, so my hair was not relaxing the way that it should. And you explained that to me. You said, "Hey, man, your hair is not taking this perm."
And I had the extra strength. That's the crazy thing.
I know.
And I was like, "What is going on with this hair?" So so I could have left that on for about I like a couple hours, and it still wasn't.
Still was not straightening out. So, but anyways, so it's just amazing to me how technical things can get. And one of the things that I really enjoy is learning a lot about a lot of different things. And when I see the range of things that have happened in the barbering and stylist space, I've seen a lot more color recently too, where people are getting different colors and stuff like that.
And bringing
things,
perms
perms are coming back. Like there's these trends, right?
It all comes back. I tell people, everybody getting into the designs and stuff, but there's been a lot of people that are really on social media where the barber game has evolved so much that the social media people you will have these cats get on there and they be charging 100 150, or they want to cut the stars and stuff like that,
right?
But I think some people can do it and some people can't. It's where you see your lane is. I tell people there's a barber for every person out there. You will have somebody maybe at a Great Clips and that just want to come in and get a haircut real quick and bounce. You might have somebody come at a Oasis that want to spend 30 minutes so get a cut. You have somebody that
goes down to the College of Hair Design,
and they were like, "Yo, I just want to get this quick cut, and I don't care if you're practicing because I gotta go." You know? And
there's different levels of economy too. Right?
There is.
So some people can't afford a haircut. Other people want to pay top dollar for it. Some people want ultimate convenience, and other people are okay with waiting. Right. So there's all these different things, and that's one thing I want you all to know is that whatever business idea you have, there's probably someone out there who will be your customer. You just have to find them, and you have to find your niche in the space, right? And so, when we were kind of thinking about, just coming up as DJs and everything else, there was a specific group of people who wanted to listen to the music that we were into. And what we learned is that we had to continue to learn more and more music so that we could serve more people because if you only stick to one type of music, then there's only one type of people that you could play for. Just like if you stick to one type of hair, it might just be one group of people you can cut.
And that's where the master barber comes at. You have to be able to do different actings of hair.
Mhm.
You just can't, you just
Can't just focus on one specific kind.
You have to be able to do everything,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people that think when they do those 1,800 hours or whatever, how many hours that Nebraska got now, but they come out, oh, I'm a master barber. I'm like, whoa, how?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You did 1,800 hours. Well, that's what I've been told. I'm like, who's telling? So it's just, I think once you put time in and you really see the different styles that come out, you have to be able to do anything and everything.
Yeah.
And with all, like I said, with all different types of hair. And we people learn fast, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think people go to people who not only inspire them,
Mm-hmm.
that they talk to, and that they can see themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and you would think, I'm a ball barber, but I cut a lot of people because I do talk to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I try to inspire people all the time, sitting in my chair.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and you ask a lot of questions and you really make that person feel like they matter during that haircut. And I think that's so important. And it's important, when we talk about business, to talk about customer service and, how you're different from the other people who are in the industry and how you distinguish yourself.
Well, you know why? Because there's certain people that comes out, and you got to tell yourself everything's not a transaction.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you're money hungry, they're gonna know.
Yeah.
Right. So we treat it as such. Like, I really build relationships because I know they matter.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and I think those relationships are important, and we'll talk even more about relationships when we come back after this. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have KB Mentz in the studio with me today. We're just talking about a wide range of things and just having a good time. So we'll be right back after this. That's right, Lincoln, Nebraska. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have KB Mentz in the studio with me today. We've just been talking about a wide range of things, really spending some time talking about Visionary Youth, some of the events that are coming up. Don't forget, December 15th, we will be having our toy giveaway. On the 14th, we'll be setting up for it at St. Paul Methodist Church. If you'd like to volunteer, go to visionaryyouth.org. If you'd like to donate, go to visionaryyouth.org. There's lots of different ways that you can get involved with making sure that a young person has a wonderful holiday. One of the things that always comes to mind for me as I think about the youth in our community is that the youth in our community don't choose their parents. They are born to their parents, and that is the life they are living. And so if they're in a situation where, unfortunately, their parents are not able to do something for them, we as a community have to circle around them and try to support them as much as possible. And I always think about that. I always think when I see different situations and young people in unfortunate situations that young person didn't choose that, right? That circumstance. And so as we are rolling into the holidays, I hope that you are thinking about different ways that you can support people in the community and really try to help brighten somebody's holiday, because I think we all have the capability to give. We've talked a lot about service today. We've talked about business. One of the most important aspects of business is the concept of relationships, right? And how relationships and building positive relationships and maintaining positive relationships is what gets us through those difficult times and what allows us to continue to build our business. And so, KB, talk to me a little bit about how you establish relationships within the barbering space and how those relationships have really helped your business grow over the years.
Just, one thing I just try to bring barbers and stylists together through the events. always giving back. I mean, like I said, once you give back, you that feeling is undeniable. You want to go ahead and give back. And I think I meet a lot of barbers and stylists, because I walk into a lot of shops, and at first, people look frown, like, man, what is he coming in? He has his own shop. Why is he coming to my barber shop? Is he trying to talk to my guys, or is he trying to, pick up some new traits or something? I'm like, no, man, I'm just, hey, we should be able to talk amongst each other and help each other grow. You know what I'm saying? As the barber community, and then as stylists as well. So, I mean, I walk into almost everybody's shop and really greet them and just tell them, hey, man, if you need anything, I've been doing this for almost 28 years, going on 29. So I've been doing it for a long time. I see, barbers get out that some of them last a year, some 5, and then they be like, I want to quit. And I'm just like, man, you have to put that extra oomph in, it's not going to be easy.
So that's a great point you're making here. And I want you to explain, what is the long-term objective of a barber? Like, when I think about it, I'll just make a comparison here. I think about, if you don't cut people's hair, now I'm not talking about you because you own shops. And so you have to understand that he owns the shop. And so the people who are working in the shop have to pay rent to have a space in the shop. And so he gets paid from that, as well as, whatever other things he has going on. But what is the long-term outlook for a barber? I mean, how do I retire as a barber? Is that even possible?
It is. And a lot of people don't talk about that. And I'm glad you brought that up, man. Like, when, I talk to my barbers, I talk to them about, 401k. I talk to them about index insurance policy funds. I talk to them about CDs, just certain things that you need to put away,
right? And
for a rainy day, not only a rainy day, but just think about your future. And I asked them, what does that look like for y'all? You know what I'm saying? And it's different for everybody else. But my thing is, when I started my barbershop, and I was we started 4 people in there. I just wanted to be able to make sure if I didn't have nobody in there, I can still pay the rent. You know what I'm saying? So I asked people, what do you want out of you? How much you put in barbering is anything you do, is how much you're going to get out of that.
Absolutely.
And I think, there's been times where I tell new barbers, you have to be ready to commit. There's going to be days that you might not cut only 1 or 2 heads, or maybe none at all. But how are you going to commit? If you keep on leaving the shop, and there's a walk-in come in, you might miss them. Somebody else going to get them. They're not going to wait. So I was, I let my barbers know, like, man, just think about this. If you're on the phone and you're on Instagram, Snapchat, and all that, why couldn't you send a message? Hey, I'm out here cutting today. Get somebody in here. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell them, the people that you think that's going to support you are not the ones. It's the strangers.
That's right.
And it's so crazy how they be like, well, man, I got a whole bunch of people. And then when they in the shop and they're charging the regular price at the shop, and they're like, man, they was all with me when I was cutting in college hair design.
That's right.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. Now you're really charging the price, and they want that friend deal. But
that's right. I mean, if you give to so many of your friends, I mean, you'll go broke. And that's one of the things you learn quickly in business, is that, like you said, your friends are honestly some of the first people to forget about you.
Right.
They really are. And the reason they forget about you is because they knew you before you were in business. They knew you before you had going on what you have going on. And they don't even know you in the context of a business owner. They know you in the context as a friend. Right. And I'll never forget, I was the first bar that I was a part of was called the Chatterbox back in the day. This is an epic place. It was legendary. It was under the bridge over there, 8th and O under the bridge. For you all who are from the 1970s through like the 1980s, it used to be a place called Sweep Left. That'll bring back some memories for some folks. If you were here in the early 2000s, it was called the Haymarket Hideaway. Remember that place?
I remember that.
Yeah. So that turned into the Chatterbox. And what I'll never forget was like feeling when we went into that business, me, Bode, and Nick, we knew so many people. We were like, man, we know a little bit of everybody, right? Like Bode had been here for an extended period of time. He had like the crowd from like Lincoln because he went to Lincoln High, and then he went to East for his like a year or something like that. Nick had gone to college here, so he knew a bunch of college people. I was in graduate school, so I knew the grad side of things and was a DJ. We just thought everybody's going to come down to the spot. We quickly realized that, man, your friends, they're the first people who will be like, he'll be okay if I don't go.
Right.
Right. And so it's just so tough when you have to rely on strangers. You have to have something that is valuable to people en masse, because you're only going to get a small percentage of those people to actually come to your business. Right. And so you start learning these things pretty quickly. So people always approach me with business ideas and they're like, oh, I want to start a business. I want to start a business. Like, great. So the first thing you have to consider is what it's going to be like to struggle for the first 5 years. Right.
They don't want to hear that though.
Absolutely not. Because in their mind's eye, they're going to be wildly successful. They're going to be an overnight celebrity. They're going to just be, everything's going to be wonderful and perfect. I remember thinking just like that. I remember thinking, why would I plan so conservatively with my ideas when I know that I'm going to be successful? And I realized as I got further along in business that if you can plan on failure, absolute failure, just thinking that I am going to fail, I am bound to fail in this business, and you can figure out a way that you can fail for anywhere between 3 to 5 years, and it still makes sense that you do that thing, you probably should do that thing. Right?
I mean, just think about the time when I bought that all that equipment, that DJ equipment, and you, Donnie, y'all looking at me, bro, why are you buying that?
No, I wasn't looking at you.
Well, Donnie looked at me.
I wasn't looking at you that way.
You wasn't.
I did the same thing. I bought my equipment too on credit, right? Like everybody. I mean, I maxed out a credit card.
But we had a mission.
I believed in myself, right? I wasn't going to fail. I had no choice. I mean, I had to make the credit card payment, right?
Man.
So you invest in yourself, and then you look for the opportunities. But then when the opportunity comes, you always have to say yes, right?
Man.
So, I mean, it was just like, and that's the thing, folks, is that you can do anything you put your mind to, but you have to also do anything that comes your way. Like you have to really be committed to doing these things persistently until you don't have to do them anymore.
Dang,
right?
God, man, you're definitely right. You're definitely right about that. And I think that's what now everything that you see is so, it's like, yeah, I want it now. It's like I want it now.
Right.
And I think that reality hits and they shut down.
Yep.
Or they go do something different.
Yep.
So, and that's one thing I've learned about the business. Like certain people can make it look easy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was looking at y'all like, man, this DJ stuff is easy. It look easy, man.
It's not easy,
man. Y'all killed me.
Yeah.
I remember the looks that you gave me. Like, what are you doing? You sound horrible. I'm like, there was one time I had one of my cousins come down and I was DJing at your spot.
Which one?
Oh my God. So you got so many. You had many. The one on the Rich.
Yeah. Rich Farmhouse. Yep.
This is my blood cousin. I'm DJing and he's brutally honest. You're garbage. I'm leaving.
Wow.
Well, I remember DJing with nobody in there at first.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 2 people. Then it started to be more people. I was like, yeah, come on down. And then it started to come down and I really started to, I just kept at it, kept at it. And then they was like, yo, we want to call him for a show. We want him to do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I started to really fall in love with it. But it was rough.
It took time. Rough. It takes time, right?
Man, it took me almost.
It's amazing. It's amazing that you always look at somebody and you think, man, I can do that. I can do that. And there's true. You can do that.
But you're going to have to work at it.
It takes time. And I think that, as I watch my daughter get into DJing, and she has an amazing ear. She mixes, she does all that. She's very intricate with her music. And it just amazes me. But I know that all the time she was growing up, she was listening to me too, right? And so, you know, you get these opportunities to like pass things down, and you know, you get the opportunity to see the people that you love take on these new talents and do these things really well, and really take it to the next level too. And it's been great for me to watch you develop as a DJ and do things that are different, because you're putting your own spin on the craft. And I really enjoy watching that. And that's been one of my great joys too, is being able to bring in new people into the industry and watch them be very successful after teaching them. And I love to teach, and teaching people how to DJ has definitely been one of the joys that I've had.
Yeah, that's a blessing though. To be able to bring somebody in and give them a craft, and they can go make money at it.
Absolutely.
And then teach somebody else.
Absolutely. So, you know, we talk about relationships, kind of back to that concept of why relationships are so important. You know, when you think back over your 28, 29-year career in the barbering industry, I mean, you've probably seen some clients grow up and then bring their kids back to you, and
you're right,
all the rest of that. So, I mean, what has that been like, just to see people grow and go through all the different challenges? Because I know when people sit down in that barber chair, they talk to you about their problems and all the things that are happening in their life. What types of things have you seen and heard over the years?
I've seen a lot. I mean, just to be able to, you remember Reverend Combs, cutting him.
Yes,
man, Reverend Combs was, I mean, he was sad. He knew how his, you know, there's certain people's minds work, and when Reverend Combs come in, the music was changed, and you knew like, yo, this man, he about the business, but he really is trying to teach. And I mean, seeing him throughout the years, and then when he passed, and the family asked me, hey, could you go cut his hair? That was a moment like, wow, he would only want you to cut his hair. So just to be able to take that on and actually cut his hair in the afterlife, you know,
wow, that's very powerful.
It was.
That's very powerful.
It hit different. Yeah.
Shout out to
Reverend Combs.
And we'll be right back after this. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. I have KB Mensa in the studio with me today on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back. Lincoln, Nebraska, we're back. I have KB Mensa in the studio with me today. We've been having a great conversation today about business, about friendship, about service, about relationships. I mean, we just covered a lot today. And so, you know, as we close up today, you know, what are some words that you want to leave with the audience just about what's coming up? You know, we have the toy giveaway coming up on December 15th. Anything else that you want to talk about?
I mean, the toy giveaway, I'm still right now in the session with the Mind project. We're on our, it's going to be our 6th session right now.
Okay,
so
excellent. And which school are you at with that?
We're at Bryan.
So
that's about
Bryan
to be
High
wrapped
School.
up at Bryan High School. And I think we're going to try to go to Color
Middle School will start. Okay, excellent.
Color Middle School. So just being able to do that. Man, it's just a lot of things that I'm working on behind the scenes before it comes out. So we're cooking right now.
That's great. And there's just always so much going on in Lincoln, and you know, Lincoln is such a community oriented city. And so I just want to say thank you to everyone out there who does choose to give their time, their treasure, their talents to the organizations who are serving people across the Lincoln community. As we talked a lot today about, there's so many challenges that people are experiencing right now.
Right.
And what's so amazing is that regardless of how you feel and what you're experiencing, you can always help somebody else. and you can always be an example as you serve to someone else so that they see you serving and they want to serve. And it's amazing, right? It's amazing that we can all be role models regardless of what our capabilities are. We can all step up and we can all make a difference in whatever way we possibly can. And so we certainly appreciate all of our volunteers. We couldn't do it without our volunteers at Visionary Youth. And we're excited to continue to do great work here in Lincoln as the new year comes around. I mean, we're kind of rounding the bend here. You know, we are rounding the bend with the end of the year. I have a birthday coming up on Thursday, the 27th, which will be gone by the time the show happens. But
you'll be what, 40,
45? Don't even
47.
Yeah,
I got
45.
Yeah, I got you.
So,
you know, I'm gonna tell you one thing about Lincoln, though. I love about our community is that we will pull together to really help our neighbors.
Absolutely.
That's one thing that I can say as being here in Lincoln Night.
Yeah.
You know, even though I'm from a different city, but coming here, I've seen so many people that will unite together for a good cause. So
yeah, and that goes across all lines, and I've seen that on so many different occasions too, that people band together and support each other. And it's really important to live in a community like Lincoln where we care about each other so much. It's just, you know, it's been really great to have you on the show today.
Man,
and
I appreciate being here, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun to get together and reminisce and talk about things, but it's even more fun that we get the opportunity to serve nowadays together.
Right.
And we've gone from, you know, when we first met each other and, you know, had the opportunity to like do some entertainment stuff together, and now we get to serve together. And that's what we focus on. And I just think about it, it's like, we're serious about service. Like we're just as serious as we used to be about throwing parties and the intricacies of like what's going to happen when, and, you know, counting that money. Now we're making sure that money goes back into the community.
And it's fun, though.
It's
fun.
It is. We take it seriously.
We do. We take it seriously.
We are just as professional about making sure that we serve people at a high level. We're just as professional as we are in everything else that we do in life. And I think kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, the energy, the time, the focus that goes into trying to always figure out what's next and how we're going to level up. Absolutely.
That's it.
Get better, right?
Yeah.
We always want to get better. We want to be the best at serving people in Lincoln, you know, and that's an amazing thing to be aiming at.
It is.
So there's just so many opportunities that we've had the opportunity to work on together. And we truly appreciate our friendship. We appreciate our listenership. Yes. And you've been listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters, and I had KB Mensah in here with me today. And as I always say, I hope you lift off. I hope you've taken something from this show, gotten some inspiration. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Take care.